Things aren't always just what they seem. Feeling my way through the darkness. Guided by the beat.
So that's Andy there in the svelte sunglasses. And next up is Susan Duenas. Susan has perhaps the most difficult job in Malibu that's not an elected public office, and that's public safety director. And a lot of things went wrong during the Woolsey fire, and a lot of things.
Thanks her and the LASO, and I see we have our search and rescue team. We have a great deal of members of the CERT teams, and we thank you as a community for all your efforts and all that you do for our community. And as you walk around, you can always give them a high five and a thank you or a thumbs up, because they need to hear that from us. I see our public safety commissioner right back there, and we have council member Rick Mullen over here to the right. So you're well represented, and we'll move forward. Personally, myself, my home, I waited till the last to get my debris removal sign off, because I didn't feel it would be fair to go ahead of others. And also, the debris removal guys have a great deal of practice by the time they got to my place. So moving along, and if you have any questions?
More people. I really hope everyone takes advantage of all the vendors we have here. It's like a one-stop shop today, and really take advantage of all the people here. Don't forget to go to the back. There's a lot of great booths back there. Right now, I want to take a special moment to say thank you to all our sponsors. We had a lot of help from the community. The Public Safety Commission for the City of Malibu, our lead sponsor, International Protective Service, they're in the back. Be sure when you go visit them, tell them thank you, because they gave a very generous donation.
That's fine by me. So wake me up when it's
The Red Cross Office of Emergency Management, Malibu Search and Rescue, the Malibu CERT Team, Malibu Reserve Sheriffs, our volunteers on patrol.
Okay, so the Malibu is very lucky. We have a very strong CERT team. What that is, CERT stands for Community Emergency Response Team. These are members of your community who have gone through a 7-week training class, 21 hours. And in addition to that, they have completed a number of other trainings that are required to be part of the team. They put in at least 30 hours a year volunteering, and they do just a variety of things behind the scenes that really help to make the community safe. They're helping us to improve radio communications in the city, which is really important. And helping us with our emergency bins. We have 5 emergency bins stocked throughout the city that we can access during emergencies, which we did during the Woolsey fire. The very first day of the fire, on Friday, that was the first thing I did, was reach out to the CERT team members to get to the bins and start pulling stuff out and take it to Point Doom Elementary and Zuma. So that's the kind of stuff they do, and you'll see them in their CERT polo shirts. They're helping out at the booth. They're helping to keep an eye on pedestrians crossing the street, because the last thing we want at a safety expo is anyone crossing paths with a vehicle. So they're out and about trying to make sure this is not just a safety expo, but a safe safety expo. We have another class coming up if you think you're interested. That's going to be starting in September. Just so you know, the classes start. There's one on disaster preparedness, fire suppression, where you learn how to use a fire extinguisher. There's 2 disaster medical classes. One is how to do triage, and then one is about treatment. And then there's a class on light search and rescue. So how do you help somebody who's trapped under something heavy? What do you do? And then we have a class in disaster psychology, a disaster terrorism, well, that's terrorism is disaster, terrorism. And then we wrap it all up with a drill. The last class is a drill where we simulate a disaster and everyone has to practice their skills. So it's really fun. Everyone, whoever takes it thinks it was a great experience. I encourage everybody to do it. These are just really good basic life skills, like knowing CPR or anything else like that. So Stop by the surf booth, talk to the team, and tell them thank you, because they do a lot of work behind the scenes on your behalf. Each class is 3 hours long, and then after that, you don't have, there's other classes you need to take to understand how the whole emergency management.
So what's the range?
Autonomous on the planet Earth. They have a network of
And your architect here about how specific houses are outfitted in this. Can you describe how houses are outfitted with the target system you have?
Well, basically, you're talking about our design itself, how we're replacing the heads around the perimeter of the roof system. Depending on how the house is constructed, we have an under-eave system as well, and we do an in-ground system based upon the needs of the property. We have our own, like I said earlier, we have our own water source. We inject fire retardant into it, and
That means you have a tank on the property.
we do have a tank on the property.
How big?
It depends on how many gallons we're running on the system. Could be a 5,000 gallon tank, but it's we don't put out an exorbitant amount of water, but we put out enough. Our system was designed based upon a lot of input from fire
Offer. Will my homeowner's insurance, will I get a credit from them?
So, over Shield, we work exclusively, we work pretty tight with Bart Baker. He's actually sitting at our booth of Baker Insurance. There's no guarantees on getting a reduction or some sort of credit, but it is a possibility. You take the right and correct preventative measures, and that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Yes.
People insured by AIG, their policies are expiring in October, which is a really bad time to try to shop for a new policy right at the beginning of Santa Ana wind season. Some insurance companies give discounts for some systems. We have not met with any of them yet. We've really the technology just got to the point where I could automate. The new gel, I could adduct into flow. You cannot do that with any other structural gel product. And I wasn't happy with any of the sensor technology, because the sensor technology that most companies are using is basic industrial flame sensors meant for powder coating booths, chemical storage, warehouses with really even atmosphere lighting and everything else. So those sensors out in an environment with sun and weather and rain and cars and solar flare, it's a whole other thing. So we are hoping to partner with some insurance companies once they see what we have, and see if we get people, people are getting our high-end systems. They're definitely invested in securing their property.
Came out and looked at one of our sites in Pacific Palisades, and they've actually are writing a recommendation for Chuck to partner with us, and they're looking to possibly come back into California, because they did in fact pull out of California just because of the wildfire.
Insurance companies want to write policies in California, and they're going to be looking at ways to continue doing that. Anybody else got
I heard that there were instances where you actually went to the property to help fight the fires that were there. And as I understand it, some people were prevented from going back, even certainly prevented from going back. What do you see the future on the firefighting side of things going forward when the next fire comes?
A lot more people are going to stay, and you're going to start seeing more community-based fire brigades, fire protection, neighbor really helping neighbor out. Really, that's kind of the future that's on the horizon. So, and a lot of times you're safer to stay at the property. There are certain people that should stay, and there are certain people that shouldn't stay. But at the end of the day, it's going to be neighborhood fire brigades, much like the one they have here in Malibu West, over on Point Doom. They're all starting to get prepared for the next event, and that's what you're going to see.
So, I've been testing fire test. We buy product, we apply it how they recommend applying it, we put fire on it, and we use our own eyes and see what it does. It's not a lab test, it's a real test in the real world. So we're going to have them announce when we're doing tests. We're testing a bunch of products and a couple of retardants and some incandescent paints as well. So we'll let you guys know when we're doing the burns.
Okay, Bobby. And a member